Let the chaos reign. Chaos Reign presents Ratchet Behavior. Can a woman be reformed? With special guest, Counselor Murray. Broadcast December the 7th, 2020. Enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
Hey, Gary, are you there? Nobody can hear you, man. Gary, let me see if I can unmute you.
Are you
Gary,
serious? Can you hear
there
me?
you go. Yeah, I got you now, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Hold on. I gotta make sure my mic is working because it just didn't play nothing. What you heard?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. You're fine. You were just on
Oh, I
mute,
see.
man.
No. I was on mute. Something happened. Like the mic wasn't really working well, but it's working now. All right, I'm good. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, no problem, brother. Enjoy. Have a good show.
Yeah. In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities in which we witness the world and what we see today, what you see is we're seeing a state of chaos, and to a greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos Rain here, and this is a very special broadcast, a broadcast that normally I do on a Sunday evening, but today we have a very unique subject, and we have my good friend that's going to come aboard. We're going to discuss this and other things. This is, I will see this I should say is, let me see, 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth in a many series dealing with the mind, therapy, all the things that most of our people like to keep escaping, but you're not going to escape the bigger issues that we need and what we know is necessary to better ourselves. Actual therapy. But nonetheless, before I go into the topic, I would like everybody to go to talkrealsolutions.com. On talkrealsolutions.com, you'll see the list of 3-point plan. Also, you also notice we'll have lists of black banks. And on the website, you'll find the latest articles and news of events, current, or that will be coming. All that is on the website. So go to talkrealsolutions.com. You also can find us on Facebook as well. So if you go on Facebook, you'll find Talk Real Solutions as well on Facebook, and you'll find Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. So we're streaming on multiple platforms, on the conference call, radio podcasting, and on social media as well. But we're not going to hold more time. Today's stream is titled Chaos Reign presents Ratchet Behavior. Can a woman be reformed? This subject, I know this is going to be problematic because, I hear a lot of fellas say that a lot of women that are engaged in ratchet behavior, there's no hope, there's no chance, they're done, they're finished. But I feel that as a man, and I'm a man of reasoning, I could say anybody could be possibly corrected. But before we create, we need to go more deeper. I'm hoping my guests, and maybe myself, but most of my guests, is we're going to go into the deeper psychological issues that leads to this ratchet behavior. So, no further ado, let me find it. As if Mr. Murray, if you dare press *61, so I can see it online, so I can open your line up. All right. So as I present my guest for the very first time here on Talk Real Solutions, my guest, none only, Counselor Murray. Hello, Mr. Counselor Murray.
All right.
How you
What's
doing,
going on, sir? It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And my, I have a topic that I'm not sure how we're going to go about it. Maybe you could probably answer, do more insight. But nonetheless, this is something that we never really, or I don't know if you ever deal with something like this, has never been discussed. Because we talk about healing and correction amongst the community. But in regards to reform, that's like another avenue in itself because that takes a lot more lengthy process. So before we go into the subject, I like to take a step back in time before I jump into the present and potentially in the future. So for the very first time on Talk World Solutions, you could tell the people that's listening a little bit about yourself.
All right. Just go right into it. All right.
Go ahead.
My name's Counselor Murray. I am stationed out in Atlanta, Georgia. But let me start. I started mental health career in New Jersey. I actually worked in a juvenile detention center, where a lot of ratchet behaviors and stuff goes down. So, I noticed a lot of the kids in there were taking medicine, and they would line up every morning to take the medicine. And they all had behavioral challenges. So one day I went to the nurse and I looked up what kind of medicines they were taking. So I saw different prescriptions at the time, and I actually went home and I, investigated and saw what kind of these medicines that these kids were taking. They all had medicine that had to deal with bipolar, depression, ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, a whole bunch of disorders that these kids had. And a lot of these disorders were causing them to get locked up because, if you're oppositional, that means you're not going to do well with authority. So, so basically I was thinking, well, if they was getting the treatment out in the community, they wouldn't be locked up in these facilities. So I was trying to figure out, maybe I need to change my career and actually go out into the community and help the youth, and my people, my community, go out there and help them out there instead of working in the corrections facilities and helping them there. So that's when I went out into the community, got jobs doing case management. I worked for some treatment facilities. I did some anger management trainings, and eventually, I moved to Atlanta in 2010. Got my feet wet there. Actually, went to get my master's in clinical mental health, and then I finally got my license, fully licensed, last year, August 2019. So I'm a licensed clinician. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and that's my career right now.
Excellent. Wonderful. For a decade now, you've been in this field heavy, and I will take it that I'm not sure if you're a 90s or 80s baby like myself, but
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 80s.
80s. Okay. Oh, cool. So from this experience, we have gone through what they call the epidemic that destroyed a lot of black communities with the cheap crack cocaine, which devastated a lot of our communities back in them time. And the ones, depending if we were I can't say for myself, but like the byproduct, depending if our loved ones or mothers or fathers were caught on that, we are potentially gotten some of the residue of the chemical imbalance through this drug war. That led to a lot of young people, men, and we could say women, that are a result of the byproducts, where we now see that the ratchetness is on I would say, be fair, maybe on a mid or all-time high. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, it is out here now that it's all-time high? Okay. Because you're in Georgia, so, depending where you're at.
I'm in Atlanta where they cook the dysfunction, so yeah, I see it. I see that probably a more severe rate than a lot of other people.
Okay, yeah. It's a problem. So now into this, the only question I could ask, ratchet behavior, is this a derivative of learned behavior, or is something that is what, like you said earlier, could be related to a chemical imbalance?
Definitely, it's a combination of both. So let's go back. You were talking about the crack epidemic, right, in the 80s, 90s? So we all, understand that, crack cocaine, messes up the chemicals in your brain, which there's different areas of your brain control different parts of your thinking system, different parts of your the way you move, the way you think, and stuff like that. So if those chemicals get thrown off, then you're gonna come up with some type of disability. So now even what happens is because the adults at that time were mating, even though they were on drugs, they were still having sex, they were still producing these babies, right? So when you're producing all these babies, what does the Surgeon General tell you? You're not supposed to drink, you're not supposed to smoke or do drugs while you're having a baby because it's going to mess with the chemicals in their head. So
yeah, and I think the nervous system too of the baby too, nervous system as well. I could be wrong.
The nervous system. So these babies.
Speak up to the mic.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. You're good. You're good. Speak up. You were low, but go ahead. Yeah, here you go.
My fault. My fault. Let me speak up a little bit. So these babies basically were born with learning disabilities, and that's part of a symptom. Yep, it's part of a symptom of crack, cocaine, and being born in your system. You're gonna have learning disabilities. There's gonna be ADHD because you're gonna have cocaine is a stimulant. So the baby's already going to be hyperactive due to that. They're going to have behavioral problems. They did studies where this is alcohol kids who are born with alcohol in their system too. It's kind of similar. So they done studies that a lot of them, they get the ADHD, and a lot of them have problems with authority and just following directions. Because the cognitive ignitions in their brain are not completely wired right and not completely working. So at times they don't even see that they're doing anything wrong, especially because the chamber in your brain, I forgot what it's called, but it controls emotions too, and that affects that part of your brain. So at times they don't even know how to regulate or even manage their emotions right. So they go from 0 to 100 real quick because there's no impulse control, in their bodies. So and then you have with the drug epidemic, you had parents who could not parent. At times grandma had to take care of her kids. And grandma, she's kind of older, so she can't really, just put any discipline in or, regulate the kids, especially if it's not a man around. There's no masculine energy. And with masculine energy and what they call the evil patriarchy, what that does is it sets discipline, it sets standards, and it sets discipline standards, and it sets values.
Boundaries? Yeah.
And boundaries. Yes.
Okay.
So now, if you want to go into, do I think? Let's say, do I think women can ever come back from that?
I don't think so. No, because one of the first law. Oh, hear me? Oh, hello. Sorry, you say something?
Go ahead. Yeah. Oh no.
I think the first law of order is there has to be discipline in your environment.
Yeah.
And usually the man set the discipline. But what we have witnessed now for 40 years now, I was going to say a little further, but usually it started to really take up after 81. So, but I would say around 40 years, 1980 is the
What's that, the late millennials? 81?
Well, I would say millennials, because there's a criteria where a person that falls under millennials, and this is what I have a problem with the not data, but like the categories. Remember, when they start categories of people is after World War II in 1945, and only thing that was consistent was baby boomer 1945 up to 1964. Then it was Generation X 1965, and it stems between 78 or 1980. And how I knew, because I remember did a course where there was a book. I wish I kept that book, but I never. Because when you finish certain things in college, you discard. It was it a market. It was a market course that I remember taking, and it had the labels itself on paperback. When I go on the internet, it changes. There's no consistency. So the only thing I can remember a person that is separate from a millennial and a Gen Xer is up to 1978. Now, anybody after born 1979 through 1994, you're quote-unquote labeled as a millennial. But, you can't tell average people that now because some people sometimes were born after 78 fall under, they'll say they might be still a Gen Xer and not a millennial. But from what I remember reading the book, because I remember I took the class on it, it points out specifically after 1965 to 78, which is roughly 14 years. And we look at after 14 years, it goes another 14 years, 1979, or actually 15 years, because 1979 to 1994 is 15 years. So it ranges every 15 and potentially 20 years. Gen Z is now 1995 to up to 2015. But the point is this, that it splits after the first two so-called generations. The point is this, if you're born after the end of the 70s, you fall under that millennial range on the average. You know what I'm saying? So people that were just coming into the world didn't know anything about serious drugs until they're like boys and girls until like 83 or 85, most likely. Yeah. So, but you can go on. I just want to bring that little history lesson.
Okay, so you're saying that it won't change?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
I'm a kind of disagree with you on that. I think they might change, and I'm gonna say this. Now, will they change while we're alive? No.
Okay. I think I understand the question. You asked me a question. Will people that have the behavior, will they change? That's what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair and honest, that's a catch-22. I would say it's a possibility, but how I look how they want to project here in America, not only that's going to happen if black people completely miscegenate with this race of people. And that miscegenation will not be complete until 2053. And the reason why I say it won't be complete because they project what America is going to be. They say it's going to be like a tanning of America. But we all know that's code language. That means it's going to be not white or black. It's going to be something mixed. And we all know mixed could fall under white. Because mostly that are mixed. And a lot of men are going to like this. If your child goes out and procreates, wherever the case of his environment, that child, mixed baby, has a more higher chance because of his surrounding, will mix more into the system or a group of people that dominate. That's just logic. So that's the environment. But like I said, I mean, that's a projection that will show the completion of America. Because think about it, America is really built on a colony to import fresh new people.
Corporation,
Yeah, they have a corporation need new bodies. And people gotta say they didn't really start this process until after when America became America in 1700s. Like I think America became America in 1776. You look at 30 years later, they start now, I guess, stop cutting back and importing so-called African slaves. That's what they said, but they said do it behind the back. But after that process, they start, in the next century, start importing more European people for the numbers. You get me? So like I said, it's a corporation. So like corporation, you need new fresh meat. But So like I said, that's where I would think it's a possibility it will change, but it's not gonna be in the face where you're gonna see two black parents in regards to that change it if things play out.
True. So you're saying that the structural family might never come back.
At this current environment, no, because the laws made it a way where if you're a man and you're of a certain financial status, if your woman is not on your program and what you're trying to what's better for what mission you're trying to achieve, especially if you want a family, that's going to be very difficult in this environment. And I say it's difficult because there's too many outlets a woman could do. Because think about it. Me and Jay Sean just talked about this. A woman could feel a certain way and she wants a divorce because she don't feel like it's beneficial. There's too much outlets. When a man makes a decision, it's final. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He doesn't sit there and decide to say, baby, you know, you're not doing what you need to do. I'm just going to divorce you. You're not going to find, especially amongst black men, Councilman Murray, you might find other race of men, they might do that. And I said they will do it because they have a track record. We dig up the research. They will divorce. But when it comes to us men, we normally don't divorce like that because it's not because of the fear factor. That's one factor. But really, truly, a man set his ways. When he said, you know, it's time to settle down, create a family, you know, see your children grow, do the best you can to provide for them, and to carry on your legacy, carrying your legacy. That's it. Men are simple. But to the women, psychology, they don't see that, especially in this environment. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, women are, like you said, they're emotional and they're not stable. Just like the housewife wants to be the thought, and the thought wants to be the housewife. But then when they become what they thought they wanted to be, they want to switch it up again and be what they were before. Because, like you said, they get bored or they just want to keep chasing pleasure. So whatever's pleasure with them at the time, that's where they're at. And that's why you see the divorce rates are going up, because a woman can just be bored. Oh, I'm bored. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to divorce you, take your money, take the house. Now you got Pookie and Ray Ray coming in your house that you built, and she's taking care of him because she took half of your money. So now you're funding her and Pookie and Ray Ray. You know what I'm saying? And that is part of ratchet culture. Now, now I'm gonna discuss ratchet culture. So what is ratchet culture? It's basically just ignorant culture. You know what I'm saying? It's just ignorant. It's just a rebellious, ignorant culture. They don't want to compete in regular society. So they've created this dysfunctional society where the more dysfunctional you are, the more praise you get, as you can see on social media. Who gets the most likes and the most followers? The ignorant folk.
Women.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, because they're showing off what they got, which is the easiest thing they can do in their life. I mean, it's just easy, you know? That's basically like if somebody, it's like a man rich just showing off his $2 million bank account every day. You know what I'm saying? Just posting it. People are going to keep following because we're looked at as valuable through our means and our accomplishments, and they're looking for body and beauty. So men don't do that though. We have standards, we have principles. We don't boast, we don't brag like that. You know what I mean? We don't just. Besides the simps, they will. They'll flash their little money they got on social media and their guns and stuff like that. But real men, real masculine energy is being discreet, making your moves silently. Just like how the mafia did back in the day. You didn't come out here all highlighting what you got. You kept it to yourself and you chilled out. But the culture has moved, the culture has shifted, and dysfunctional ratchet culture is profitable. You know what I mean? And we live in an economy of capitalism, which I'm not mad at. But sometimes when it goes overboard, then you start exploiting people. And who are the most exploited? Black people or our people.
Black people.
Because the other cultures know that they can't do they don't want to do the ratchet behavior, but they would like to tune into it and look at it for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So why not let the black people act a fool? We can make money off of them. Most of the record labels and most of the media is controlled by white and Jewish. So we're gonna give one of the biggest idiots in the community $1 million, and we're going to make money off them by being ignorant. And we're going to praise them. And guess who that culture wants to follow? The rich person, the ignorant person. You know what I'm saying? Like Cardi B. Like, she's straight ignorant, but she has money behind her. And since she has all that stuff that black women want, now they follow her because they want to be like her. not you know what I mean? And to me, being a mental health counselor and a therapist, I believe that most of these celebrities have a mental health disability. I mean, who else is out here doing this type of stuff? Unless you're bipolar or you have some type of depression or you have some type of anxiety. I mean, it's something to make you go wild and just start twerking in the middle of nowhere, twerking on police cars. Like, what's going on? You know, there has to be something there that they're not getting, and they need that attention, you know, to make them feel good about themselves, but it's bad attention. You know, and just like I said, Cardi B, right? So I believe she's bipolar because one part of bipolar is the manic stage. And the manic stage will have you doing, getting into situations and events that could put your life at risk, other people's lives at risk. You can do stuff that would excessively going on sexcapades, excessively just doing dangerous things, you know. And she's known to doing that. I mean, you know, she's prostituted. She's drugged guys and tried to rob them. She's a stripper. She tried, you know, she just does a lot, you know. And what happens is her management or her you know, her team will just basically put a camera on all this foolishness. You know what I'm saying? You put a camera on her actions, and then everybody just tunes in like this is entertaining as hell. But on the inside, she's probably going through a whole bunch. And once her manic stage ends, she becomes depressed. You see what I'm saying? And
I see it in her. I see depression sometimes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see sometimes when she like has her makeup off and everything, and she's just talking, and you know, just talking about her life. That's the stage where she's depressed. So guess what these people do? They probably give her a drug to get her back up to that manic stage. You know.
I wonder what type of drugs will someone like her need to operate in a high level.
Good old cocaine.
Oh, so the myth of the reality of a lot of these celebrities, that how they keep their high, they have to induce them with these chemical drugs like cocaine or prescription drugs.
Oh yeah, if you listen to like interviews from the older musicians and celebrities, because you know if they're going on tour and they're flying or driving all day, how can they stay up all these hours to do show after show after show if they're not on something?
You're right.
You know, and a big person, Bruno Mars, he's been caught with cocaine plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but either way, besides the cocaine usage, what I'm saying is the top people, the top celebrities in our culture have mental health disorders, and they're being exploited, which means people who don't have mental health disorders will follow those bad patterns. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And which means they think that's normal and won't seek help for it.
You're right. Let me give the call number. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 977-194#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 977-194#. Tonight's subject is titled Chaos Reign presents Ratchet Behavior. Can a woman be reformed? Well, actually, we have one person calling. Let me open this mic because he's been waiting for a while. All right, caller, I open your line. Who's this?
This is Jalen.
Hi there, Jalen. Do you have a question for my guest, Mr. Counselor Murray?
About this subject, no, they can't be reformed. They're gonna stay ratchet forever.
You don't think no type of treatment, no type of counseling or mental therapy or anything to, reform a ratchet in your mind, Jalen?
If I try to, these females will cuss you out. So You gotta let them belong to the street. So it's just what it is.
Hey, Jalen, do you think?
Hello?
Hey, you can hear me, Jalen?
I can hear you. Hello?
Okay. Do you think on an individual basis they can change, or are you thinking on a mass, like overall, will they change? Do you think individuals can, or are you saying that all of them are doomed?
Overall, what I mean, but she belongs to the street. So.
Got you. Now, do you think? Now, I understand you probably think they won't change in your lifetime, but do you think eventually, in 3 or 4 generations, once the younger generation keeps seeing the failure, do you think they'll finally get their act together, or you think they'll just keep the cycle of failure going?
They probably gonna keep the cycle of failure. You trying to reason with them, so you can't tell them nothing.
I'll definitely hear you.
All right, thank you, Jalen. You have any other questions, Jalen?
No, I'm finna hang up.
All right, thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Hey,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I didn't know if you had something.
No, you about to say something? I was just going to
mention about the cycle of Ratchet ending. The reason I say I believe it will end is because I just believe in everything's a 360. Everything's finally takes its course. So I'm kind of believing that it's just like when you were a kid and you had ice cream and you really liked it, right? So to me, Ratchet behavior is like they act like like kids. So so like as a kid you eat ice cream, but as you get older it slowly just starts going away and you don't like it, and eventually when you get older you hardly eat it. You might eat it once or twice a year. Some people eat it more, but I believe some people eat it once or twice a year. So eventually I think it does get out the system, but the thing is we don't want them when that happens.
You're right about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially they reach a certain age and how to keep their self. This is my thing with the Ratchet. Till I went or ladies don't understand. And I think let me see if my friend Femi was commenting. I could read her comment. But before I read a comment, this is my thing. A lot of women don't understand of any stature or any status will have sex with Ratchets. No doubt about it. They will do it. But regardless, like really, really married, I don't want our ladies to get their head filled up because of like the Cardi B and that song WAP. That means you're going to get married if you engage in the same behavior as her. Because and this is where women got to say, if you want to separate the men from the boys, if you are under the age of 30, all you gotta do is you go on a date with any man. And remember, ladies, you go out on dates to men that you are somewhat attracted to, that you could see potential maybe having sex. Just knock that out. That you as a woman on a first date, just be honest. Tell your man your desires, what you actually want. And if you want to be married and you're seeking to really settle down and be a mother or a housewife, if you express that to any man on a date, asexual, and he blows it off or be honest and say no or anything, that's when you know you don't proceed no further. You end it there. That's what I call stop wasting time. That cuts off the weak to the strong. Because I'm telling you right now, ladies, the average man today, because marriage is such a bad deal, are not looking to get married. Not saying all men, even including black men, say they're not seeking marriage. How I know? Because I know a brother, Mr. Samuels. He create what we call the mix. And he has a portfolio of bachelor men that are making good money and they want to have a partner, a wife.
Yeah, I'm actually in that group.
Leave some legacy. Yeah. What happened?
I'm actually in that group. Yeah.
There you go. So it tells you that there are places, there are environments out there where men are want to settle down. Still in America. Surprised how the odds are, the potential that depending on how much you make, it can hurt you, especially, and I'm not sure if you're a six-figure yet, Mr. Murray. Well, let's say you are.
Mm-hmm.
It could hurt you potentially how you play it out.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, most men today, after they get a certain age, they just don't want to be going around fooling women like that.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not saying that men are not dogs, but like I said, as the man reach more in status, the more quality women are going to be around him. That's the way life is. That's the law of nature. But you see, a lot of women, because they have not. You see, this is one thing I had to respect a lot of grandparents back in the day before all this ratchet start to come around. Is the reason why they were in marriage for such a long time, because they were prepared. They were able to pair bond with the man. They know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? They always know what it is. Your grandmas might not told you that because you've been lied to, saying that you not only you can have it all, but you should be strong and independent. You should be focused on it and don't focus on other things. And see what has happened to a lot of ladies. It has pushing you back. You are far behind, ladies, where now you're at 1 to 4 potential. You might not potentially get married in life.
Yeah.
In this country, possibly. Because of reputation. And I don't want to tell y'all this, but I'm looking not only in the data, but I'm looking even in my environment that, to be honest with you, to even take a risk, I'd be shooting myself in the foot. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Because at my age, and I'm not sure if you're older than me, Mr. Murray, Council Murray, but I can't deal with a woman, let's say the same age or like a few years younger than me, and she already has the kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the only problem. Now, regardless of you having the kids and she's in her 30s and she's looking, I have to see how her psychological condition, how her mental condition is, how she interacts with me, or, will she want to abide by whatever program I'm trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with this 50-50 thing. You know what I'm saying? And why I say that, because most women don't understand 50-50 is a female concept. It's something you ladies design. Because you feel as long as you have 50 of certain things, you have say and do, and you don't have to really abide by any man, period. That's where the 50-50 concept come from.
Exactly.
Any woman that tells you about
every man loses in the 50-50 situation.
There you go. Yes. Because now she has an outlet. If she has to, she has 50% of some control that's going to be more than 50. And eventually, she'll, like I said earlier, have her feelings, say, I want a divorce, and eventually, depending on what your economic status, she'll walk away with something. If it's not some little alimony, and alimony only plays when you are longer in the marriage, well, let's say you have kids. That also could play a big role, Yeah. We all hear about these dudes about child support. You know about this already. Councilman, how that I'm complaining about is too costly and it's ripping them. And I get it. And my solution to most men, if you get control for custody of your children, that would be a start, but that's not a conversation. But the point is this. Women, you will be benefited more out of the marriage than a man in this society today.
Yeah.
50 years ago, almost 40, I would say 47, 48 years ago, that was not the case. But when no-fault divorce came to existence around 73 or 74, which is now, like I said, over 40-some years, that changed the dynamics of relationships between man and woman.
Yes, it did. So, listen, I know a woman right now who divorced her husband. No, separated from her husband, but still gets all the benefits, like insurance, all type of stuff, and she refused to divorce him because she wants them benefits. So she's sleeping with somebody else, but still has his benefits. Taking advantage of that, and she won't get the divorce because she knows she'll lose those benefits. And there's a kid involved, and he knows he don't want to lose time with that kid. So now he's pretty much held hostage.
Yeah, I agree. So like I said,
that's all part of that.
It's all for them, because anytime you feel like, and one thing I would say in regards to women and they follow these level up channels, which I don't have too much of a problem. I have questions some of them, but nonetheless, if you look at certain major platforms like the Miss Sevens and all stuff, especially her, or any other channel I've been hearing from one particular person, and mind you, I don't watch every channel because, like I said, there's so much channels out here I can't keep up with everything. But I did tune in one of them, and it seemed to me that, it is somewhat how to come up and get over a man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not somewhere you have to pair bond to have an understand men like that on the average. You get me?
Yeah.
But I understand why a lot of women will flock to these, because it's always, how can I get something out of this Negro? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For my benefit. Screw him, F his feelings, all that stuff. And I'm thinking, that's fine. This is a free world. This is a free country. You can do that. But you're not going to benefit in the long haul with that.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
And men
because,
are
first of all, you oh, listen, bro. You know what's going on that I did not know, and I didn't want to acknowledge it. These Gen Zs are not even dealing with sisters, which I'm not saying is a good or bad thing, but I will tell most dudes, you have to be more aware of your environment and where you're at. That because you're not dealing with black women, that means you go to other side women and you're security, especially in America.
Yeah.
Because
they
already know how to operate in this country. Let me tell you something about America.
They have the blueprint. They've been using the same blueprint for a minute.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something about America. See, America made a way for every person, immigrant, men and women, especially women, if they come here, they know the benefits they could reap without doing much work. Outside America, you cannot do that. Maybe in some European countries, you might get away with it if they have the same draconian, or those special terms they use, or gynocratic laws or stupid. I just create that to hurt the men. All that is more designed to benefit women, because they know if they have a pool of men that's doing what they should be doing and building families and building some form of power with their work, not only qualified, but now any institution or any system or establishment cannot parasite over a group of people or people in this country to say, wait, let's say anything happens, major happens, like let's say there's a collapse or anything where war might ensue. You are already far ahead in the chessboard, because a whole population of men are already dysfunctional and they are deprived because of the assistance of the women. Regardless of women don't know they're doing it, but they understand on this path you're doing, you actually earn a lot of men that potentially might be the only thing that will protect you if anything serious happens.
Exactly. You get exiled out of the pool, yep.
X them out. So now women or children are going to be even vulnerable. So now any predator, and when I mean by predator, I'm not talking about just any outside predator, but it's predator institutions will feed off you and your children. What I mean by this, let me give you an example. An example is this. If you're a single woman, either if you have a kid or not, most institutions like car companies or any commercial things that's advertised to you, take advantage of that. Because say you're going to spend over emotion. You're not going to spend with logic. When you're in a household in your ways with another mate and y'all both putting money to the pot or, using resource properly where it doesn't allocate somewhere else, it's hard for consumerism to exude once you're in an actual union.
Because you got to check in the other person.
There you go.
And
you think you're... Go ahead. Don't say anything. I just said enough.
Now, I was saying, you made a good point there, because the reason all this happened anyway, a lot of it, the feminism and all that, and the breakaway of the structural relationship and structural marriage was just to create more taxpayers. So the more single,
and I never thought of that either. And that was one of the things. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, the more single everybody is, because if you're single, that means you're spending money to try to make yourself look good. For you to go out on the dating market to try to find somebody, you're gonna keep spending money. But once you get into a structural marriage, you're not worried about what you look all the time, every day. So you can cut down money on looks and like you said, when you go out and try to purchase something big, you have to consult with the family. You have to budget more. When you're single, you don't have to budget. So you're just throwing out more money out into the economy, and these economists know what's going on, and the politicians know too. The longer people are separated, the more money they're going to make. Because
that makes sense.
Yeah, because if you think about it, women, when they're single, the media and the corporations are basically their influencers, and that's what they go
Their
to.
daddies,
for
actually.
Yeah, it's their daddy. Exactly. So they look for them and they spend their money on them and vote for them. And until a righteous man comes in their life and becomes, the guider, that's when she can calm down and really become more, more valuable and more virtuous. But the righteous men are stepping away.
Yeah, and not only they're stepping away in droves, bro. I mean, you never seen a dude once talking about say they trying to save themselves. They go in their own way. This is something new that I came across on YouTube, bro. I never know a set or a small pool or wherever men exist right now that's doing this. And I can see why they're doing it, because either they compete for the pool women here in this country, or they say, screw this, let me go somewhere else where there's not much of a hassle or headache or even much a struggle trying to get a woman to, I guess, submit,
Yeah. I mean, how long how long can a man really stay in this dysfunctional culture like this, man? When you have to have they call it the masculine frame. You always got to go back and forth with your woman. If they want to argue, it's just all day they competing with you. I mean, how long you want to take that? Don't you want to just come home, sit down, relax, and have a decent conversation with your woman instead of, her being defensive all the time just to prove that she's not submissive and to prove that you have no power over her? So of course
think
you're going to go somewhere else.
A man's castle is the one thing that he wants to come back to recharge and prepare for battle for the next day. And if his household is another battle that he has to fight, no man's going to deal with that. See, one thing women got to understand, as men, we're tough and we deal with certain things, but we can't fight two battles.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And much like me as a man, when I think about it, you can't do it. You're only one man, You're one man. If you got to fight a battle outside just to combat systemic oppression for either the work or out there trying to come back home unscathed, that's one battle in itself. But to fight even more harsh battle at the home, a combative one where really there should not be no fight or combat in your own household, that's not a problem. And I think the 50-50 thing same thing. 50-50 will cause that, but it might be even more than 50-50, because now I'm hearing most dudes that are not even doing 50-50 still getting the same problems.
And that's called entitlement.
That's a Western thing now. Yeah, it is entitlement. Yeah,
entitlement that men are just supposed to provide 100% now. That's what they're saying. Just supposed. This is our job. I remember I was talking to this one woman, and I was asking her, like, okay, if somebody pays 100, what are you gonna do? And she's like, and I was like, what about cook, clean, make sure the kids are straight. She was like, well, that'd be like a slave. And I told her, I said, somebody paying 100% of everything, that's more of a slave, because he's out there working to keep a roof over your head. That's a slave. You out producing, just like when the slaves were out in the master's field. They were out working, and who was benefiting? The master sitting in the house. So who's the slave?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. And you know what? A lot of this. All right. So basically, society has given the red carpet to the ratchet behavior, man. It's just getting, like you said, it's gonna get worse before it get better. Because shaming went out of society, which I don't understand. Shaming was the only thing that would keep a person in check. Like, I don't want to put this video out. People don't even, I don't want to put this image out of myself because my dad might feel a certain type of way, my mom, my grandma, my family, now with the destruction of the family, there's no one to be, to make them feel shameful for. And sometimes their mom or grandma will, praise those dysfunctional behaviors. because there's no man and there's no man in the structure. Now, there's no man in the family structure. Now, nowadays, even if a man is there, he's probably, like you said, 50-50 or living off the woman, or he's just conformed as a blue pill simp, and he just thinks this is just regular and regular and normal. So basically, they really wanted men out because men bring rules and men bring structure. Real men,
actual heterosexual men that are actually a patriarch, like you said earlier, are the ones that bring the order. Which, I'm sorry to say, the average black woman today does not want the order. They say they want order, but when we talk about what's been going on in our environment throughout social media or anywhere where we see the dysfunction in our eyes or in our face, in other words, it's not there. I mentioned you did talk about the thing with the thing in Dallas, or I know I didn't really talk much about on.
Oh
this channel.
yeah.
I never talked about it on this show, but my thing with, and the funny thing, oh shit, did I delete it? Don't worry, I hope I find it. That the owner now has to shut down shop because of some issues he had with him and his partner. Matter of fact, his partner kind of rat him out to save his own behind.
Yeah,
because of what had happened. Because it went viral. Yeah. So now he's trying to criminalize and demonize his, and this is why my issue with this is my issue. I'm not sure if the man's black, but let's say if he isn't, is not. It tells you about integrity. That if it's another bird, are you my keeper?
Yeah.
You get me? Anything that I said, for whatever reason, good or bad, you should be standing in front of me. But it goes back to real loyalty. But I'm be honest with you, the average black man today, bro, are not loyal because it's not a trained behavior no more. I mean, I know we hear stories back in the 60s where certain things were going around. I get it, but it's worse now in our time now as adults, Councilor Murray. Back then, it was not as rampant. You know what I'm saying? You find someone here that will ratchet or do things to get you hurt or killed. We know it was not like a norm.
Person. Yeah, everybody knew that person. They had that reputation. Everybody stayed away from them.
Yeah.
Like, the people in society will tell you, don't mess with so-and-so because so-and-so does this. No one teaches that no more. No one, like you said, no one carries that culture anymore.
Yeah. And that's hurting a lot of us as a people right now moving forward in the 21st century because now things like, see, one thing with that a lot of black women didn't like because this man had to sit there and use his fatherly voice because I've never seen a man or hear of a man talk up to them. It's problematic. Yeah. Because the first thing you know is, Councilman, when a man speaks in a very much aggressive male tone, they're going to find it toxic. He didn't have to say it like that. He didn't have to really say it like that. So what way should he say it?
Yeah, exactly.
Should he be like a girl? See, women get comfortable raising their voice amongst men all day, every day. But when you get loud back at them, it's a problem.
It's a problem. We toxic. We're woman bashers. We're attacking. We're everything. You can't even stand up for yourself anymore.
Nah, man.
If you stand up for yourself, then exactly. But comes to them, they can stand up for themselves all they want. And you're supposed to sit back and listen. Like you said, shame and language. Like you said, they're not used to a man just being around, and getting loud and just asserting some type of direction and some type of rules and regulations. Like, no, you're not going to be on my couch twerking like that. And listen, why do they need so much attention? That's part of the ratchet too. They need that attention because they're missing a lot going on the inside. They never were validated. They're craving some type of attention, and they put on this false confidence that usually leads them to a cycle of failure, this false confidence. You know, and it's just, now it's just getting out of hand. They just passed it on to the newer generation.
Yeah, I know. It's bad, bro. It's really bad. And not only passing it on, but now you leading your young ones to a world of really. You see, one thing I would say this, and you might notice because you used to did correctional for, I think, was it young people or older adults, like counsel people in correctional, right? You counsel people in correctional office.
Oh yeah, it was yeah, when they were in locked up, it was a youth. It was teens.
If you could recall, how many have you noticed that is women to men during the time you were doing that?
You talking about the population?
Yes, if you could recall, if you could remember.
Center. One of them I worked was all males, so that one was all males. But I worked on this facility where it was women and men. I mean, girls and boys or whatever, teenage. And the women, they're almost up to the same number. There might have been a little more men, but the women were coming up, getting closer. And the crazy part was they were more rowdy. So I would get called to the women's camp to help out and assist when there was fights and there was, somebody needed to be restrained, or which they really didn't want men doing it, because you can catch a case restraining a woman, in the wrong way. But they needed help so much. I mean, it was to the point I saw women, some of the guys that I was watching, some of the boys would maybe be like messing with one of the girls in the other campus or messing with two of them. I've seen dudes get jumped by the girls on that campus. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. Or like if two girls like one dude, they'll be fighting, and I mean, there were fights every day on the girls' camp, man. It was crazy. I got a lot of overtime though, so I made a lot of money.
The reason why I ask you is because I was telling you, like, my good friend Jay Shine, he showed a video of increasingly rise of women in prisons, particularly minority women or black women. I can't say non-black women per se. They're up there too, but not as much, because you got to understand, people, America was never designed to be a place to start locking up women.
Yeah, definitely not.
But because women are like men now, especially our women, you're now going to see a surge. And God knows, if, let's say, Kamala is the president of the United States, I guarantee you she's going to put legislation and start locking you up now. Because I heard rumors she was very harsh on mothers, black women, in regards to criminal reforms, or, things in regards to the situation of locking up minority people. I don't know if you heard about that. So imagine now, because remember, the people that that's in office now have a reputation of locking non-white people.
Yeah.
So what do you think the outcome is going to come in their first term?
Talking about Biden and them.
Biden and Kamala Harris. Because think about it, Kamala Harris was hard on men. I get that.
Yeah.
But if I'm seeing a surge of women going to jail, I only go see that they're going to put some policy in place to start now lock up more women. Because think about it, they're just as over as men. And you think this country could really operate when they know women can do what the hell they want and think there's no consequence? I just found an article. Remember, there was 2 articles now. There's one recently of one sister killing a man.
Recently, right?
Not the one that, this is recently, not the one that the nice chocolate sister from Kentucky that killed a brother because he broke up with her. I'm talking about another situation. I don't know if you heard about it.
You talking about
she killed him.
The police guy?
Was that?
I hear stories all the time now, man.
I can't recall, but it's something recent. If I find it, I'll pull it up. But not right now. But like I said, there's instances now that, men are getting killed by women, and most likely you're going to see is a slap in the wrist. And I'm be honest with you right now, that's going to move beyond a slap in the wrist in this system now, because this economy cannot deal with unregulated violence. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me take this.
Put the clamp on. Yeah.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's uninterrupted.
Actually,
But, yeah, like I was saying, this country, like you said, and like I know, right, it's not really designed to house women. But I'm guaranteed that's going to change because think about it. If this country is right now pushing 23 trillion, last time I checked, I got to double check what's the debt. It probably exceed that more now. And all the debt is going to find ways to start pay off. And prison is one of those institutions to start pay off people's debts. You get of society. Whether it is student loan debt, which they're going to try to get back. Don't believe the hype that said that it's going to be student reform debt. That's a lie, because there should be no reform on student loans, because student loans was deliberate, orchestrated in this United States government. One time, it was not something that you will lose your credit or any of those nature if you took a loan just to get an education, college education. They have changed that for the last, I would say, 11 years.
Yeah.
They now say if you take a loan, you have to pay it some way, or you're going to be a bad error in your report, your credit score,
interest,
and interest, all those things. And the funny thing about all this, isn't it ironic, people, that you can't get a business loan or any other sort of nature, but they will not get
business loan.
a student loan? But it tells you there's a trick in that. Because think about it. Yeah. And my thing, the reason why I do is because they need someone to hold the bag. Remember, you know when a lot of ladies said, I need to get the bag, you are the bag.
Yeah.
People,
yeah, exactly.
Why do you think that they'll give you something and no, so there's no way in hell you're going to pay off no loan with under 10 years? Yeah. Especially the higher the education you try to achieve, the more money you have to draw. A business loan, you could easily either pay it off or write it off as what do you call it? Damn it, it's slipping me. You could foreclose on certain payments.
Oh yeah.
On a loan. You get me? You can't do that with a student loan.
Nah, you can't really on a you can't on a bankruptcy. You can't get rid of the student loan.
Yeah, that's one, bankruptcy. Bankruptcy.
Private or at one time you could do private, but they stopped that.
Yeah, and there's a good reason why they stopped it, because remember, we run it off of credit right now in the United States. And credit's the illusion of the real illusion that we don't got much money. You get me?
Yeah.
So they had to
basically
find a way
to fake money and making us pay them back real money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have to, because remember, this it's like you're printing money out of thin air. Every year or so, you see them, they're taking more and more, loaning more, taking more and more, and not able to pay back. You know. So like student loan or prison or any form of institution is a way you have to pay back your debts to the society. You know.
Yeah.
And think about it. You know personally, Counselor Murray, most people that go to jail, they don't get the right counsel needs so that they don't go back.
Of course,
you know
not. We've all been
and much times they have the money to give you or anybody else that's in this field, they're not gonna have y'all really rehabilitate people that
try to fix
did real crime. You get me?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because think about it, most crimes in America, unfortunately, is non-offense crimes, but the time you spend in jail is damaging enough as a person. You get me?
Definitely.
Very damaging, because you're around actual criminals, actual pedophiles, actual people that are engaged in homosexuality. You in there, and you a person that has not done nothing like the nature of what these men or women do, you get caught up. They will mess your mind up. They will ravish your body, make you they'll traumatize you. They'll do everything that will lead to the same traumatization that our people still are affected for the last 300 years.
Straight trauma, just like the kid who was in New York and got put in there for 3 years for stealing a book bag. You know, he came out, committed suicide. All that trauma he went through. He was like 17, going to prison going to jail right because of hunting with grown men for 3 years.
Oh man! And he took his
life. Who knows what he's been through? Yeah, he had to take his life because
because the trauma is so great. Yeah, the trauma is so bad that he said, "Screw this! I need to die." That's where I'm
wanna
gonna
think
tell
about
people the secret. Yeah, I tell you a secret. You see, if you remember the guy named J. Edgar Hoover, the guy that ran the FBI, right? He said his dream before he transitioned 48 years ago, right, was to see the demise of the Black Messiah. He wants to see Black people, particularly, or people of color, commit suicide, self-inflicting suicide, either on himself or to others. That was his dream, you know? Yeah. Because think about it. Europeans, they go and kill Black people whenever they get a chance, and they might get away with it, and they might do, right? But that's too much work. You get me? It's better to see you destroy yourselves, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's what when they put out the news
now
of black-on-black violence from cities like Chicago, which I find it very popular lately. Every time I turn to the little liberal outlets, those Eurocentric podcasts, radio stations, they always talk about the violence in Chicago. Like Chicago's the only state where Black people are talking. Yeah, I find it very weird.
Black people, what about Chicago?
Yeah. And not only them, but also TV outlets talk about it too. You talk about our crime, but what about Chicago? I said, what about Chicago? Do tell. I don't live in Chicago.
We're talking about Chicago. Exactly.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's other states that have black-on-black violence that's probably rampant, but the problem is all that is by environmental issues and lack of opportunity. See, people don't understand when Black people are in a good place and they're able to flourish financially and do beyond their purpose, violence does not exist.
Exactly.
But imagine if it's the other side. You are known for a history that are good. You're still violent. You up here,
you have all the money and everything. You still do violent acts. Yep.
You still do violent and criminal acts. It's in your nature to do some sick stuff, to shoot up stuff, blow up stuff. You know, all the violent things. You're known for that.
Very antisocial race.
Bro, if you didn't know the dangers of incels, especially Eurocentric, non-Black incels.
Yeah.
Look at the Elliot Rodgers of the world, or any man that he's entitled to.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the way that society's going with the way that the dating market is and people getting exiled from the dating market, they're going to start being the most dangerous people out here, man. They're going to be frustrated, and they're going to see everybody else reaping the benefits, and they're going to start, shooting stuff up. And you know what what I think of when I hear this, when I think about it is, listen, because men and women need each other, right? At one time, men needed them sexually, and women needed that protection, and they needed to be provided for. And men, like you said, we needed the sex, we needed the feminine energy too. A man needs that energy from the opposite sex. So the government came in and basically gave women protection and provided for them, right? But they never came in and gave men their needs. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna give the women their needs, it sounds crazy, but they should have been. The only equal thing I can see is you have a factory of, like virgins being sent to these incels. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not happening anytime soon.
Of course, that's never going to happen. You know what I mean? I mean, they might create some robots for them or something, but right now these incels are not getting what men naturally want: sex and feminine energy. Women are still getting their protection, and they're getting provided for. And guess who's providing for them? If the government's providing for them, that means men are providing for them still on a more macro level. And
I agree.
And it's just causing a disruption in the whole structural system of this country, and now it's in other countries. It's just getting out of hand, brother.
And the problem with all that, because the incel thing is slowly on the rise, and I think outside America, I think Canada one was worse. I remember a stream by the other man, the old man, with one woman that is, I think she's in the same field of psychiatry. I could be wrong. She talks about the same incel situation too in Canada, and
white lady
problem. Yeah, I forgot her name.
I think I did hear
But
something.
the incel thing is just as a problematic. Canada is heavily white dominant, like up here in America. I'm not sure what the percentage is, but they have a lot of them up there too. That these same incels feel they're entitled. Matter of fact, a good movie that explains this was The Joker, the one that came out last year.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't watch,
yeah.
but I heard too much things about it. And throughout that whole movie, they had a black woman that was trying to patch this sick bastard up. I guess he was giving him sex. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that the incel have a better shot if he wants sex. His better luck is with a non-white woman. And trust me, sisters will open up that pussy for them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say in that movie, eventually he was having hallucinations. So she wasn't giving it to him. Yeah. Eventually it came out that he was just hallucinating. But I see where you're going with this. Now, when it comes to the incel, see what the incels do, what they do wrong is they try to go straight to like a PUA, or they try to go to the dating coaches to try to see, try to fix it. What really they need to do is start with the therapy first. They need to figure out what's going on. Okay. Yeah, they need to figure out what's going on inside of them. They need to figure out why they have social anxieties. Because all this stuff is most trauma comes as a little kid. Maybe one day he walked in a room and peed himself, and he got embarrassed, and he ran from the room. And guess what? Now he's older, and he still can't be in a social situation because he never, he never processed that situation of being embarrassed again, peeing on himself. So there's little things that happens in your childhood that you eventually grow up and you respond to things just like how you put your hand on the fire when you were younger, and now to this day you don't do it because you know it's going to burn. This is what a lot of them went through. Some of it's some other disorders that they can't really help, like maybe autism or Asperger's, or there's actually a diagnosis called social anxiety, but most of it is just a traumatic event that they haven't sat down and talked about and fixed. If you're scared of talking to a girl or scared of going out on a date, that means something happened when you were younger, and you need to find out when it was so you can fix it. You know what I'm saying? It could be confidence issues, and usually kids lose confidence at a young age because maybe an adult said something to them, or maybe they lost a race when they were younger and got made fun of, so now their confidence is shot. So all this stuff is just childhood trauma that they've never went to explore with a licensed clinician or professional. So before going to PUA, man, and getting tips on how to date and dress, which to me is like I had a client's mom one time, right, and she and her son was not was not bathing, like he didn't do his hygiene right. So she bought him brand new clothes. So I went to talk to her one day, and she's like, "Yeah, look at him putting new clothes on a dirty body," and that just made me laugh. I was like, "Clean clothes on a dirty body," but that's exactly what a lot of these people are doing. You're still dirty on the inside, but you're putting this mask on, or this bravado, or this false personality that you get from the PUA, and now you're going out there and you're trying to talk. And guess what? Even if a girl does come up to you because you have you dress nice and stuff like that, what are you gonna say to her? Because anxiety is gonna kick in anyway, Yeah. And once the anxiety kicks in, you start talking. You're gonna say something that's gonna throw the whole conversation off, and next thing you know, she's gone. So people just need to do more work on the inside, and take it more seriously. But the incel will definitely be the next most dangerous, person coming out soon, especially with social media dating, the options out there. And like somebody said, the 80-20 about to become the 90-10, man.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that. Shit, man. That's
getting closer there,
Yeah. Oh, for the call number for today's stream, call number is 712-770-4160. The access code is 977-194-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 977-194-pound. Tonight's subject is Chaos Reign presents Ratchet Behavior. Can a woman be reformed? With my special guest, Counselor Murray.
Hey, I have a question, Brother Chaos.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question.
My fault. I didn't want to cut you off. I just had a question when it comes to the Ratchets. Now, what do you think if they know, do you even think they're conscious enough to know that what they're doing is ignorant and wrong? Or do you think they find it beneficial? What do you think why they behave this way?
To me, they behave this way because how I view it is attention seeking. Rather, a lot of women don't want to admit it, but to go out there and shake your big booty, rather it's big, medium, or small for a sister, is a form of attention to my eyes. Because, mind you, I got IG, I got these other social media outlets, and if you look at certain apps, most of them are solely women type apps. You get me? If you have a smartphone of any nature and you just turn it on, and you have one of these apps, it's not hard to see a woman of any booty size shaking her booty and loving it. Even to the point you hear girls saying, hey, yeah, girl, shake that booty. And you see women engage in homosexual tendency behaviors, slapping on a woman in her booty. I actually, one time, a good story in this regards, I talked to one female that's in her 30s, mid-30s. I said, what happens if you're in a club and you're dancing and a woman slap your ass? She'll look at her dead in her face and tell her, don't do that. I don't like that. And that chick will look at her funny. But it tells you the homosexual in its nature itself is very homoerotic for other women. And this is what happens in society when you switch roles. Men are supposed to act like girls.
It's very masculine behaviors, right?
That's what it is. It's very masculine. You know? That's why if you look at the time when I remember dealing with a club, it was like a long time ago, maybe a few years ago, and then back in the early 2000s, depending where you go, there might be an instance where people might dance with the opposite sex, but normally if it's their boyfriend, girlfriend. But remember, when we came around as adults, bro, the whole dancing scene changed, bro.
Yeah.
You see more of the sexes engage in individual dancing with the same sex. What I mean by this, you'll see most dudes will sit there and do a weird dance with another dude, not dance with each other, but like they're doing like a contest, right? And you'll see some women twerking with each other, next to each other. Yeah. Even to the point where they're slapping their booties. You know? So, but the point is this, that this society homosexualize groups of people and normalize it without their knowledge, without their subconscious thinking or them thinking about it. They just do it. They don't know why, but they just do it because they see it. It's a trend, a very uncontrollable trend that everybody, within, let's say, a couple years or a decade, it becomes the norm. Yeah. Which is problematic. So I'm saying that to a lot of our people that this is known as attention seeking and rationalized for normal behavior for every person to view them, a particular set of women. That's why, and I never asked you this, but I'll ask you now. In regards to colorism, has anyone ever came to you for a consultation about, why she cannot attract the opposite sex, and she always tell you about is her skin tone? Has anyone ever came up to with that?
Like a client?
Yeah.
A client of mine? No, I never dealt with that, actually, in my practice.
Okay, you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
I'm sure, but, I think women spread that more than men anyway, that whole colorism thing. I think it's just an insecurity they have and, using that excuse at times. And, it's not really when it comes to men, it's more of your personality and your, of course, it's looks, of course, you know. But there's dark skinned women that are banging too. You know, there's dark skin, light skin. Like I always say, like to me, the uglier you are, or the more society doesn't approve of you, the more feminine and the more nice you have to be. Because good-looking 10s, 9s, and 8s, they can be disruptive and masculine and talk trash and stuff, and men are still going to gravitate. Men will even wipe them up because of just how they look. But if you're going to be overweight or you're just not the norm of attractiveness, don't follow your good-looking friend. And this is what I see a lot of ratchet women do. Just because you're, you know, women hang out in the pack. And there's always going to be that one that's the best looking. Then you got your ones in the middle. Then you got your ones at the end. But everybody looks up to that one who's the 10 or 9 or 8, whatever, getting all the attention. And they see how she acts, and you know, and the rest of the women are like, how come she gets all the attention? I'm gonna start acting like her. So they act like her, and she might, and she doesn't correct them. Like, hey, I can in a real world, she should be like, hey, I can get away with that because these dudes gonna be checking for me no matter what I'm doing, and I'm still gonna have a chance to settle down and have a family. The other ones will understand that they won't act in the same way she does. So what eventually happens is the good-looking one moves on in life, gets married, calms down, chills, and leaves her friends back who are, you know, who are single and still on the club scene, acting masculine and not getting nowhere. So for some reason, the 4s and the 3s, then they can act the same way as the 10s, which is super ratchet, and think somebody's supposed to, you know, deal with that. If you're a 4, I'm not going to sit around and deal with masculine and bossy behavior, ratchet behaviors. No, I can go get a 9 and deal with her ratchet behind. At least she look all right. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you were a 6, and you feminine and you're you know, submissive, feminine, you're just nice person, eventually somebody's gonna pick you up, because it's rare to even find a woman like that anymore. But if you just ratchet and you were 6, you might as well get a ratchet and a 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is how women fool themselves on the market.
You're right. And the funny thing about all this with the good woman that doesn't do all that, and they see the results that the men they can't get in a track. I feel you, sweeties. I understand the pain and frustration, but because those men are not checking for you, because you're not engaged in saying ratchet behavior like what the man is seeking, all is not lost. I'll say this personally. I hear this with a lot of women tell me, say, you don't want that. I tell women, most men you deal with are like you. They don't always know what the hell they want, just like you.
Yeah.
So that means you should stop doing what you should be doing? That means you should not stop being natural? Try to keep it.
Being you, yeah.
To be honest with you, this is what I hear with a lot of people. It's an excuse to say, I'm engaged in dysfunctional because it's the best way to go. No. If a whole set of bad eggs were bad, like let's say I bought a dozen eggs, and out of those dozen eggs, more than half are bad. Does it give me the excuse to say, all right, they're all bad, I can't get my money back, I'm just going to eat all of them because they're eggs? You know, I'm just going to have to cut that the trend. No, I'm going to get sick. There's going to be consequence. So you know what I do with the eggs? I throw them in the garbage and keep one that's not bad. But like I said, and this is why I want more women to start listening to men now. At the end of the day, whether you like to hear or not, sweetie, you're going to hear the logic in our why we do certain things. It might not make sense to you because, like I said, you're a woman. You don't think logically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they only see.
It's a problem.
Stories on that one.
Yeah, the problem of why you have the same results and you're not getting what you deserve or what you're trying to see is because you're basing things on emotion. See, if your father was around, any male figure that you could trust, he's going to tell you the honest truth. And you're going to take the honest truth, and you're going to make adjustments to get a different outlet. That's why when Mr. Samuels does the show Night In, Night After, is to have you change, and it's really to make yourself reflect on your behaviors and know, saying, if you continue this path, the offer you deserve is nothing. That's the end result.
That's why they had arranged marriages back then, because the father would make a logical decision, because the woman's gonna make it emotional and probably get with somebody who's gonna be bad. But the father knew that he wanted his family to continue to strive to more successful levels, so he'll go choose a man for his daughter instead of leaving the daughter out there emotionally choosing people who are not good for her. I'm not saying let's go back to that, but a woman eventually needs some type of male figure who can guide, but they just don't want to listen to a male, so they won't go to their dad. They won't go to an older brother. They won't go to a male friend they might have had, or a cousin that has some type of wisdom, and ask them, hey, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that guy? And the guy, she can be like, the guy will be like, well, tell me about him. And the guy he will know immediately if the dude's trying to play her or if the dude is really into it for the long run. Why go to a woman who's bitter? Why don't you go to a guy who knows how guys move? To me, it just don't make sense. And to piggyback what you were saying, it was making a lot of sense when it comes to the good woman, and just to be patient. The thing is, I remember I was in college, right? So on campus, there was this one girl. Let's call her Stacy. So she was basically like the campus jump off. You know what I mean? Everybody was hitting it, right? So she was the campus jump off, and I was talking to this one girl who was quiet, chill. And one day I'm talking to the girl, and I'm like, and she's like, I wish I could be like Stacy. And I looked at her like, what? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, she's so pretty. And listen, the girl I was with looked way better than Stacy, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, she's ugly. Well, how come she gets all the men's attention and all the men want to be with her and stuff like that? And I was like, because she's easy and she's giving them easy sex. I mean, what else you want me to explain? That's the reason why she's getting all the attention. And she was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, women do I understand that a woman who has 2 or 3 guys trying to marry her is 1,000 times more valuable than a woman who has 200 guys just trying to bang her. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. And it's because they see the other one getting attention. Attention's a drug, and they want that same attention,
Yeah, that's a good story. I like that. That's telling. But like I said, one of the few things we men could do better to change around, because I don't care what women say that they're going to try to raise their standards or trying to explore their options, which they're free to do because this is America. But I'm saying right now, if you carry a certain behavior already to the group of men already and toward yourself, don't think going somewhere else is going to be different. See, let me tell you something. With exploitation, I had this conversation with Jay Shine too, that these non-black men are willing and ready. The ones that can't get no coochie from their own group of people, they're just waiting for their sister to open up and just screw them, which is fine. But I'm telling you right now, the outcome you feel is no different because they already know that you're, I can't say mammy in a way because that's not what it is, but you're just a concubine. You're a concubine.
You're concubine. That's all they want you for.
You're a concubine.
And
the same thing that what we read in history books, you're depicted now freely. You get me?
Yep, they put that image out there even more.
Yeah.
That's all they basically like, the black women, they just want to have sex, so I can just holler at them and they're going to want me, pretty much.
Exactly. And look,
they worship
they don't have to work.
Us.
And listen, even the loser of their own group that doesn't even work hard just to get coochie from his own group
see it
of
in real
women.
life.
You see, right? You know what I'm saying? Someone that looks like, as a man, you have to put in work. And if you got or not, just to get validation for a woman, just to give you attention and maybe give you some pussy. But to them, because it said I have this skin, they have the white skin and look a certain way. That's all they need.
Straight.
And think about it. A lot of women feel doing this that they'll get a sense of a status. And I'm telling you right now,
they feel valuable after that.
People gotta understand the status of black people in America or just in general is low status. Mm-hmm. Any non-black person taken on us, men and women, is lowering their status. I don't care what women tell you, fellas, about saying that men because they're in rule, they have a higher status. So deal with no, your status is low. Have they remember the movies, the House They Pray? These movies that they tell you. The white woman tell you. She tell you in your face what you are. Mm-hmm. So you're not doing her a favor. You're not really in competition. I'm sorry. That's just the bottom line truth. When they talk about competing, y'all ladies have no idea what competition is. Mm-hmm. So, somebody raise their hand. I'm open the line. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Who's this? I open the line.
This is Sister Adwa.
Okay,
I've been listening to you guys, but I wanted to just make one observation, and that is this, is that the behavior that you're speaking of, women's behavior, and you're talking kind of loosely, so you talked about the strip clubs and sisters hanging out with other sisters, hanging in a pack and all of that. But I just want to bring your attention to the fact that most sisters' behaviors are a response to what they perceive their men's interests. If they see men interested in a blonde-haired women and white women, sisters have blonde. Are you listening or are you making noise? Sisters,
no, I'm not sure. Is that me? Hold on, let me check.
I don't know. Right. Sisters tend to do things to themselves to attract their men. So you see sisters out here dressed very loosely and provocatively. It's because that behavior gets the attention of men, and they want their attention, okay? So when you speak of women, you can't leave the man out of it. Their behavior is a response to the man's behavior. It doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. If women are interested in men,
are attracted to that?
Okay, listen.
And what kind of men?
Men and women.
And what kind of men are they looking
black
after?
Men.
Are we talking about productive black men? Thinking black men? Or are we talking about?
Okay, I don't know. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about rational men? Who are you talking about? Just men in general?
Because I believe that black women are so addicted to social media and entertainment that whatever they see on TV, the media projects a man that they believe black women like, and they flock to those type of men. So they wear this stuff to go to those men. But there's no women in real life, in the real world, letting them know that whatever's on TV really shouldn't be following that. These are the type of men you really should be going after, somebody who's productive and actually wants to build something instead of looking on a TV, looking at a little baby and trying to be with those type of men.
Well,
and usually at younger, that's where they get them at younger. Go ahead.
Okay, men and women, to me, I don't see no difference in the behaviors, okay? Men have feelings just like women have feelings. They have aspirations just like women. They have a mind just like women have a mind. And a woman of good character values herself. So you're not going to see her everywhere. You know, you will be looking for her. because she is occupied with her own personal aspirations and goals. That's number one. Now, you can find a lot of women out here who have low self-esteem. They do not value themselves. They've been mistreated by men, okay? And so what they go after, it's very small. It's not going to go anywhere. You know, you say these women that have 5 and 6 men at a time, those relationships aren't going to go anywhere.
You're right.
Nor are those men that are participating with this young woman or whoever she is, or whoever they are, they're not going to even school them. You know, a lot of young women want a man that tells them, look, I don't want you to dress like that. I don't want you to go out and be provocative.
I don't know.
That's how men, I think that, I think that women want a man, a woman, a young lady would want a man to value her and to school her where she needs to be schooled. See, the responsibility of a relationship is going both ways. It's very reciprocal. You know, I give, you give. I give, you give. But, I mean, you know, what you're talking about women who have very little aspiration. They don't feel like they're going to go anywhere. Let me get it while I can, you know. I fit in wherever I can get in, you know.
Chasing pleasure,
mean, so, and I think men are the same way, too, you know.
Yeah, the younger ones, but they, you know, they were raised.
Not young ones, old ones, too, now. Come on. Now, let's be truthful. Just because you get up in age don't mean that your mind has developed if you haven't put time in that.
Yeah.
So I have a mind, you have a mind. We both have the ability to master our mind. Yeah. And I think what the key is.
Do you truly think these women at this young age want a man? First of all, they grew up. A lot of them grew up. Hold on.
What age
first of all, they
group
grew
are
up.
you talking about?
Let's say 18 to 24.
Okay,
I can go 18 to 40. Really, I can go.
Yeah, let's go 18 to 35. 18 to 35.
Yeah, let's go 18 to 35.
Okay.
Most of them grew up in a house with no male figure. So when they're in a relationship, they don't even know how to interact with men.
Men grow up in a household without man being there.
Yeah, but the women train these men to be pretty much caterers to women.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know what? But women never teach their sons female nature, so they set them up for failure when it comes out here.
Wait a minute, you said women don't teach their men.
They don't teach their sons. Yeah, they don't teach their sons how females move. So the man's out here trying to be, do the best they can when it comes to, taking care of a woman. But then the woman has so much going on that they just play the man, or they'll keep the simp over here and they go mess with Pookie and Ray Ray over there at the same time.
Okay, well, I mean, like, what I see is men paying for purple, red, and green hair.
Exactly. And who's raising them? Who's raising them? They're so stuck on looks. Listen,
wait a minute now. Mama, wait a minute now. I'm talking about a young woman and a young man getting together and the types of things that they prioritize to keep their relationship going so they can get the nookie every night. They paying for false hair, fingernails, clothes that they shouldn't even be wearing. All right? So they're getting validation from their men because they paying for all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, that doesn't do anything for self-development. You walk around here half naked.
Most of the men when it comes to that age range, they're not really paying for all that. The women are just paying on their own, or they selling themselves somewhere. They're doing some type of thought activity to get it.
Really, you just saying that women are out here on their own, and men don't have anything to do with what these women are doing out here in the street. Is that what you're saying to me?
What I'm saying is women are making these decisions because, like I said, they're addicted to entertainment. They're addicted to social media. So they're going to do things to get these items that you're saying so they can post on social media. But they are, they might have a street dude or somebody paying for some stuff, like
but
that.
And
I'm not saying it's all. I'm not saying it's one-sided, but I'm saying,
okay.
Go ahead. I'm not saying it's all one-sided. Men, they haven't developed into being men, especially in that age group. They're just as much as obsessed with their looks and their what they look like on social media, just as the women. So when they both get together, it's failure. But since the man got kicked out of the family unit, no one's teaching these men how to be men. Not worried about, they're not teaching them delayed gratification, where they have to plant their seed at a young age and build themselves up to be successful. They want instant gratification, just like women want instant gratification, and they both come out failures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think that in time one will learn that you have to love yourself before you can even go out to love somebody else. If you don't value yourself, then 9 times out of 10, the person that you choose will not value you.
You're right. Now, what do you think about?
Goes back and forth, male and female, because we're not really that much different, in terms of how we're made up, how the feelings that we possess, we're not that much different.
What do you think about the female dating cycle?
Female.
You heard me? What do you think about the young black woman's dating cycle then? When it comes to when they're younger ages? Yeah, because women move culture, right? So when a man is young, a young man, and he wants to get some girls, right, and his hormones kick in, he's going to do what the women are looking for at a young age. So if he's trying to do something in academics or play an instrument or something in tech, and they look at him as, oh, he's corny, don't you think he'll probably change his whole persona to try to be like the guy that is getting all the girls, like the so-called Pookie street thug or whatever you want to call him, which will turn to him maybe catching a charge, maybe even dying, trying to portray something he's not, just so he can get the women. And I'm not blaming, I don't want to put all the blame on women, because he should have enough self-esteem to just be like, you know what, I ain't going to do all that just to get girls. But this is the cycle I'm seeing. I work in the community. I work with young men, and the men, the young kids in high school who have learning disabilities or just not doing right in school, they're getting most of the girls right now at that age. So now the kids who are actually doing good want to become like them, so now I'm counseling them now to try to keep them on the right track. But they think it's lame. Academics is lame. They just going down the wrong path chasing girls. You know what I'm saying? So how come no one hasn't corrected the young girls' mentality? Like, instead of looking for these guys who are going to be nothing when they get older, why are you giving your prime away to those guys instead of, trying to build a future with the productive man? What is that about?
Well, I think it still goes back to building a strong foundation so that you have self-esteem that is on a foundation that cannot be shaken. See, you can't build your self-esteem around what you're wearing. That's not where your self-esteem comes from. It comes from your personal accomplishment.
Exactly.
Not what you're wearing. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with that. But we have, you know, especially people who may have a lower income, they see people dressed well, and they see people acknowledging them because they look good. They want to look good too. So that, I mean, you know, that comes from just reasoning. You see that, okay, they project themselves in a positive way. They look good. They're clean. And I want, you know, I want that attention too. But I think that they're, you know, our young people, they just have not, I mean, they've been glued to the television. They see stuff on television. You know, I see young women out in the street dressed like they're getting ready to perform on stage, going to, you know, do a job interview. I mean, where does that come from? You know, the appropriateness of our behavior.
The media is raising them,
You know, and that's all I wanted to say. I just didn't want it to be a one-sided thing, you know, that the ills of the world are the responsibility of the female. That's not necessarily true. You know,
I understand where you're coming from, but
not only are you a man with male energy, you also have feminine energy that allows you to be intuitive, creative, etc., etc. I'm a female. I have male energy when I need it, and, you know, it'll come out of me. I can be aggressive, but I also have a feminine side to me, too. So, thank you.
No problem. I just wanted to piggyback on. Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, and of course, it's a male, you know, conversation, and you know, there's millions of platforms where, you know, women bash men all day. So I mean, we're not bashing, we're just talking, have a discussion. But I understand you want to get your input and try to, you know, put in place what men have done. So. And how men are the problem a little bit.
No,
so
I just wanted it to be balanced. I wanted to be a balanced conversation.
But do you call female shows and say that?
Because now I'm one that
do you call women shows and do that? I was just asking you. Do you call women shows and say this should be balanced?
I don't call many shows.
I said female.
I got
shows.
My network of sisters. We have conferences with young women and older women. We get together and we talk. Absolutely.
Lady Ottawa?
But I want to...
Lady Ottawa? The question was asked, do you go on female call-in shows or outlets in regards to the opposite conversation when it comes to the men? That's the question.
Generally, the conversations, when we talk about relationships, usually it's both male and female present. I very rarely go to a conversation. I don't bash men generally. I know that there's some things we could talk about, of course, but that's not my emphasis. I'm not generally bashing men. I think that there are things that need to be corrected in our behavior, how we deal with one another. I think we should have stronger relationship building information, because I have a lot of male friends that I have not had sex with. I've known for 40 years. Never were promiscuous with those people, but they're my good friends. I can call them, have a conversation basically on almost anything. We cry together. We talk about any and everything. And I like having male friends. I don't think our young people today get the skill set to build good relationships. Because when I sit down and talk to somebody that I've never talked to, I want to know some things about them, find out the qualities that they have, the skill set that they have, and maybe we can really do something in the future where you can utilize my skill set and I can use yours, and we can build long-lasting relationships. Not this little frivolous 5-minute thing, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you on your way. And you don't know nothing about me. You don't know my last name. You don't know where I live. Nothing. So that's what I'm into, us building relationships, because that is what is missing. Yeah. I have brother friends that tell me, sister, you ain't go back in there and change your clothes. I mean, I'm an older person now. I don't have to deal with that. But I have gone when I was younger. They said, "Girl, you ain't wearing that, are you?" I might have some jeans on or something. They said, "No, you got to put a dress on. Go on in there and get dressed." You know. I've had friends tell me things like that. Males, no, you can't wear jeans. Come on now, put a dress on. You know, how many of you young brothers do that to sisters? Oh, sister, why you got yellow hair? That's not natural. Do you know how fine you are without all that stuff?
You want me to get assaulted?
How many of you do that? How many of you do
want me
that?
To be assaulted? Come on now, you can't do that out here.
Hey, Gary, can I say something, Gary?
You can do that.
Wait, let me check what's going on. Wait, somebody said something.
Next you know, her boyfriend gonna come
That's just sure.
Wait, I didn't open your line. Who's that, Joshua?
No, yeah. She's on my line with me. That's what happened. She's on my line.
Well, I got open next line. Thank you, Lady Ottawa. Before I open, I think this is Greg. Before I open your line, Greg, let me say this. We didn't talk about strippers or anything of that nature tonight. We were talking about something else. I want the ladies, when you listen to the conversation, listen good. If you listen in lately, you missed the whole point of the early part of this broadcast. So before any response, I want to be clear that y'all listen in enough information. I don't want you to add anything that was not said tonight. That's just a side note. Now, regardless from what you heard, Councilor Murray, and what I've heard, on the average, most women, they stay in their little circle. Only time when men talk about women, that's where they're around. And regardless, the same thing when women are talking about men in a very negative light, for whatever case may be, if it's bashing or not, that's not the same energy. Matter of fact, you rarely hear that. You get me?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I just want to add on, you know. And I don't blame it, because most women nowadays, it's a protection, you know, because a lot of women don't want to be ostracized with other sisters on no systematic or any economic scale, to be honest with you. So I get it. It's part of the game, you know. So let me open Greg. I'm going to let you talk. Greg, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Chaos? Reigns.
Yeah.
Hey, I was listening to your show. You know, I thought you guys were talking about a specific problem in the black community, and I thought you were just talking about what's going on. I'm in my 50s. I see the same things that the other brother sees. We all see the same things, you know. And one thing I don't do, I don't engage conversations with women because you get into these circular arguments where they're always going to put the finger back at you. No matter what you talk to these sisters about, the finger's going to come right back at black men every time. You could say, why do you weigh 300 pounds, sister? Oh, because my boyfriend wants me this big. Why?
And that's a lie.
Why'd you chop your finger off? Well, it was my boyfriend. I was mad. He cheated on me, and I wasn't paying attention. I chopped my fingers off. No matter what you say, it's always come back at us, man. And there's a reason for that too. The reason I figured out is sisters want us to solve the problem in the black community because they can't do it. So what I do, and you guys know, I don't debate women because it's a waste of time with these circular arguments. It drives you up a wall. You know what I'm talking about. We see the same thing with these girls. I live in a pretty good community. I don't see women out here wearing purple hair and wearing booty shorts with their ass cracks out. Men don't like that shit. What men like, we like modest women. You know, that's what we like. You know, sure, I will look at a girl, you know, a woman with her ass tit boobs hanging out. But as far as a wifey, my wife dressed modestly. You know, that's how that's what men want. Where I live, Women dress modestly. You don't see these hoochies out here, man. That's not what men want. That's not what we cherish and what we desire. But according to this woman, it's just you had on her. That's what we want. We want a sister. We want a 300-pound sister with blonde hair, you know, with a gut hanging out over her damn stomach and shit, with a flat ass, and that's what we want. You know, we don't want that shit. So, you know, what I'm trying to say, man, is quit arguing with these women, man. We're not bashing them. We're not bashing it. If I tell my son to clean up his room, it looks like shit. Am I bashing? No, I'm trying to correct the problem. His room's always messy. It's corrective criticism. We're trying to, you know what? And here is the crux of the matter. We're trying to correct black women because we're trying to help them. We're trying to save them. That's what they don't get. We're trying to save their asses because brothers are walking away. They're going to Brazil. They're marrying white women. They're going to Europe. They're going to the Philippines. We're trying to help. We're trying to help tip black women out, and they don't seem to get it. 24% of black men married out in 2018. I think 22% marrying out every year. 24, and it's going up. It's going up. Brothers are walking away, and sisters don't seem to understand it. This is, you know what? I'll be brief here. I'm watching this game. This is the last hurrah for black women. This is it. After this YouTube shit ends, it's over, man. This is the last.
Oh, hurrah. Shit.
This is it.
Goddamn, Greg, you hold no tongue, man. You not have no chill.
You speaking some real stuff, man.
Man, I said after YouTube. Hey, so let me ask you a question, Greg. Have you been following the YouTube lately? What's going on?
Yeah, I listen to Dr. Carol. I like his videos. I usually listen to him.
David?
And David Carroll. Yeah.
David Carroll. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
You know the thumbnail that this dude used on his last upload? I had to laugh to say, where does he get these pictures from? He saw of a sister running and trying to get this Caucasoid with a net. I said, God damn.
Oh, he's crazy, man. He's off the chain. But look, man, the point I'm trying to make with the black women, that I don't argue with them, man. I don't. You know that. I tell them what I think. I heard you going in with the sister and talking to her all nice, and she's just pointing the finger right back at you. But I actually liked you. You were a little bit clever. You actually stayed on point a little bit, you know. But these sisters aren't hearing what we're saying, man. You know what we got to do is we have to show them, which is what we've been showing. We have to leave them alone. That's what we got to do as black men. We have to just leave them alone. Just walk away. I'm serious. Just go to Africa, go to Brazil. We have to leave the American black woman alone to her own devices. I mean, there's just no. You know, one more thing I got to say before I go. I always used to wonder about them old countries like India, old societies, and African countries. Why they don't let women choose men? Why they have arranged marriages? Think about that, huh?
Yeah, I even mentioned that earlier. I said, the arranged marriage, was put in place because the male knew how to find a productive man to keep the family legacy going.
And he didn't trust women to pick a mate.
Because they're going to – exactly.
I think that's the reason why they don't allow women to pick mates, because they know women don't know what they're doing. And I see the same shit. They're
make emotional choices.
And I see it now. I see women that are radiologists, city planners, still fucking with these idiots out here. I still see it, man. 40, 50-year-old women out here dating some nigga that rides on a bicycle and shit, doing mixtapes and shit. I see this shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It's look, man. I don't think there's a way out of this shit. I think it's over for us. I'm sorry. I don't see it changing. Sisters aren't going to change. They're in denial about it. What we got to do is leave them alone, and we have to quit banging them too. We have to deny them a fucking dick too. We got to do all that.
Man, that's gonna be a challenge in itself.
I know it's gonna be a challenge.
We have a cesspool of homosexuals out here that will willing to bang anything. With legs.
For shelter,
right? And the women think that they really want them for marriage or anything. They just want them to need a place to stay. That's it.
Well,
all right, Greg.
Well,
hey, Greg, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I was hearing you going back and forth with that sister. It was making my head hurt. But how do you want to solve the problem? I'll just listen. Tell me, because we can't just sit and bitch about the women, but we got to come how we can correct black women. Because we have to correct them. How are we going to do that? That's the question going forward.
That is the question. We might just have to, man. It's so dynamic, man. It's like we have to grab the young boys, man. We got to grab them at a young age. We got to just.
How are we going to get them away from their mamas, man? That's another problem.
That's the problem, because we got to establish a new culture. You know,
you can't.
And man, it's like impossible.
We have to get these young boys away from their mamas. We have to get them away from the black woman.
And because they're raised to worship, women in the peace sleeve, the pussy so much that their whole life is just evolves around that until, there's a lot of people dead in prison just because of their worship of women, man. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them. They do stupid stuff to peacock and to prove themselves to women, and now they locked up. Now they dead, or they went to go fight for one of them for a stupid reason. They were told this protection thing, but really they start issues, and then all of a sudden a young brother gets in the issue, and now he gets shot and killed, or he kills somebody else. So now you got one dead and one in prison. That's two men gone off of one woman. You see what I'm saying? It's just a crazy cycle. What you think, Chaos? How do you think we can stop it?
Oh, go ahead.
How do you think we can fix it?
All right, Greg. All right, thank you, Greg. I'm going to take one more call.
You let that woman talk forever. I don't hear you cut me off.
Relax. It's not that serious, Greg. You know it is. But thanks for calling, bro. All right. Next caller, Anonymous. Who's this?
Yeah, I like to ask this question. Do any of you gentlemen pump and dump? Do any of y'all pump and dump?
Not I recall. Not what I recall. No.
Have I ever pumped and dumped, you said?
Yeah.
Pump and dump. In the sense of what? Like, just I already knew I wasn't going to be in a relationship and just did something with somebody?
Well, I mean, having sex and just having sexual encounters with women and leaving them.
Well, I wouldn't say leaving them because we, in college, but it was more of a consensual. We knew what was going on. She didn't want a relationship. I didn't. Stuff like that. But not when I got older now. So I ain't gonna say I never done something like that.
Well, the reason why I asked that question, how can you advocate for pumping and dumping, but then y'all complain about it? Hold on. I ain't done yet. How can you advocate for pumping and dumping, but then a minute ago y'all were complaining about single mothers? When pumping and dumping, the activity of pumping and dumping leads to single motherhood. So therefore, aren't y'all being a little bit hypocritical when y'all do that? I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. You want this, Chaos, or what do you want?
I'm not sure what Big J. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Adjust my mic, my headset. Give me a second. I'm not sure what Big J's going with this, because I never, even on my broadcast, and I've been doing this now for years now, before I heard of something called pump and dump, have sit there said, all right, men, go out there and F these women to sleep. I'm talking about the AMS type philosophy. That's a form of pump and dump. I don't really broadcast it. I don't sit there, say, promote it. I don't waste time. If a man wants to sit there, get his rocks off for a good, I guess, under 10 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, depending how good he could hold his nut off. I don't really promote that on my channel like that. But for the sake of conversation, I don't think I ever in my life yet had ever decided to say, I'm just going to pump you and dump you. I'm not more one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me ask.
Go ahead. No, Big J. Big J. Let Mr. Miller respond. Thank you.
Big J, yes. I've never advocated for pump and dump. I'm for the structural, strong family unit. And that's the only way we can save our community, is having a strong, structural man, woman, marriage, family unit. I've never advocated it. Now, when you come to single mothers, yes, there's these men out here who do go out there and pump and dump. And I don't advocate for them either, because they're ruining the community just as much as, you know, the women. And the women are supposed to be managing their wombs, and they're supposed to be in charge of their wombs, and they're letting these homosexuals and these bums just impregnate them with a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm against the degenerate men who are doing it, and I'm against the women allowing them to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I'm glad that you say that, because you said though you won't be communitized. You want to help the people out in the community. I hear you and Gary, not you and Gary, you and Greg talking about y'all want to help the black woman and help the black community. So by that logic, so therefore in this conversation for the past, I don't know, hour and a half or so, I have yet to hear any of y'all, you, Gary, you, who Mr. Miller is, and Greg and Yashua, I have yet to hear education. I have yet to hear economics. How are you going to build something without no economics or no goddamn education? All thing y'all talk about is what's between a woman's legs. And it seems to me that y'all believe black manhood ends and begins between the legs of a woman. And y'all keep it open up all the time, and you wonder why those are felons.
Well, it seems to me you don't understand the question that was part of the stream. The topic of the stream wasn't about solutions. The topic was just about, will ratchet behavior ever end? We were just discussing if it was going to end or not. We weren't talking about solutions. Now, if there was a stream that talked about solutions, then yeah, we can have a list. We could have came up with some. So you wasn't paying attention, Big J, whatever your name is.
Okay. You say though about solutions, right? But isn't the title of the show? Isn't the show called Talk Real Solutions? So if this show is called Talk Real Solutions, well, I'm looking for the solutions part, while y'all shine bones are discussing what's between a woman's legs.
We did mention solutions. You might have missed it, Big J.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller. Go ahead.
Do you want to repeat it, Mr. Murray, or you want him to go back to the replay of this stream? How you want to go about this? You're my guest.
Talk about the solutions?
Yeah. Do you want to give it to him, or you want him to go back to replay of this? I mean, that's up to you.
I mean, I can name a couple off the top. You know, we've been discussing
for
a while. You know, I said get into the boys, changing the culture with the boys. You know, we have this culture where we black girl magic and putting the women, you know, first all the time, that we're just leaving the boys without teaching them anything. So we educate the boys, build them up, try to build more families, more structural, like I said, structural families, marriage. That's the solution. The community, being a community and building strong families again, putting strong families at the forefront. But it seems like the women are not for strong families anymore because they don't want to be in a household with a man.
Is that good enough for you, Jay? Big J?
Well, I got to ask you then. Why do you think men are not getting married?
You said what?
You really want to answer that?
It's a lot of dynamics to that.
Well, if you said that there's a lot of dynamics and you're not touching on the dynamic, how are you going to say you want the culture of boys to be you want to raise the culture of boys to be more traditional, and have more traditional relationships with women, but then though you don't want to go, that you can't name the factors on why boys or men don't want marriage or can't get marriage. You won't go there. So therefore, though, you're wasting your time. I think that we all wasting our time discussing about this issue, but won't talk about the actual issues that cause that's the genesis of the problem. Anyway, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Big J.
All right, Big J.
I hope that answered your question. Always nice to hear you call in. Call back in next time, my brother. Thank you. Let me see if I can find Joshua if he gone. Unfortunately, I want to bring him back on because I want to answer his question. Joshua, if you're there, I'll open your line just as for you to answer your question. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, it's good. If you have a question for Counselor Murray, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. And I have like a little statement, if you don't mind me asking. I mean, I kind of agree with some of what he was saying. I'm more into etiquette of black males, and I think that's part of the issue. And when I say etiquette, I'm thinking about, I'm saying we have to teach young boys, black boys, we got to teach them adolescents and up. We got to teach them stop approaching sisters. So don't approach women. We got to teach them not to approach. We got to teach them that academics is first. That's first. But we have to discipline them enough, teach them how to discipline themselves where they're not out approaching them, because we live in a society, a Western society, where it's built on ego. Okay, so when you, I learned in my years of development, when you approach them, that's the ego gets even more worse and worse and worse.
Right.
So they have the ego to either, in this Western culture, Western culture teaches women to disrespect men in general, whether you're a good man or a bad man. Now, with the bad man, it teaches them in a sense to be scared of them. So a lot of women who date bad men, they date them out of the fact that they're scared of them, not the fact that they really, really want them. They date them because they're really scared of them. So, and by them being scared of them, now they got someone that can punch them right in the mouth. You know, because sometimes, so I think, so we deal with that dynamic, okay? This is why I always have said, and, that the good black man in the so-called community, he's done for. He's done. They're not picking good men. They think good men are punks. They think good men are lame. They think good men are all that. So that's not happening. And you know what? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that now. You see, I've learned to be okay with that. You see, so that's not good. So we got to teach young boys. I'm single with no children, so I don't have no children. So I'm not wrapped up in that bullshit. Going to court, someone trying to take me to court, someone trying to say I'm a deadbeat father, or none of that shit. Okay, and I think that's one of the good things that's came out is, for me, the fact that I ended up being single with no children. So now I'm on the outside looking in, going, damn, I'm glad I don't have no kids by some of these women. Shit, this is crazy. But so again, so we got to teach them, and I've heard that before from a brother who said, stop approaching them. Don't approach them. You can say hi, bye, how you doing, whatever the case might be, but don't approach them. Don't try to take them on a date. Don't do none of them things. Stop it. So I think we got to teach young boys how to navigate with that, discipline themselves sexually, value what they have sexually, understand that they don't have to put their penis in everything sexually, and we got to teach them that way and teach them that academia is for, because without money and power, you don't have shit.
Yeah.
See, and build your power and build your money up, and that's what you do, and then you can choose what you want. You can choose who you want. Right.
They're going to talk to a woman.
Yeah, exactly. So again, for me, this is one of the solutions since my name came up, and I don't know how my name came up from Big J. I don't know how I wasn't even on the phone, so I don't know how he brought my name up. But my point is that, again, that's how I look at this thing. I think there's a selection problem in our community, the so-called community. I don't. The selection would be that they take a group of men here. They say that they don't want them. They put them to the side. But they take a group of men over here, and this is what they want. Regardless of whether or not he already got 5 children. I've met dudes who got 5 and 6, 7, 8 children, man, and they happy. But they're not taking, it's just crazy. But he can go on and on and on, He lay with another woman, he get her pregnant. He lay with another woman, he get her pregnant. And he keep going, and those same women would choose him over and over again. Some of those women that they know he got kids and keep choosing him. Like, damn, what's up with that?
Because
the
degenerate population, we're not even calling degenerates, but like you said, the ones who are just keep contaminating the community, they're producing more than what the productive intellectual man is producing, because we actually think and have hindsight. We actually think of the future, and we actually think, while we have kids now, we can build our wealth and build ourselves up. Then we'll have a kid. But in between us delaying that, they're popping out way more kids, so they're producing more than us, which makes our community look worse.
Yeah,
so you make a good point.
And then there's something else we have. See, and these are behaviors. See, I always talk about behaviors. Some people like to construe that as bashing. Miss me with that shit. I'm not bashing her. Stop it. I'm talking about her behavior. And she plays the colorism role. She does that. She plays the colorism role. She don't like light-skinned black men. They say it all the fucking time. They say it all the time. I like my man chocolate. Shut the fuck up. What do you mean chocolate? A black man is a black man. If he's a good man, he's a good man. During Jim Crow, they lynched dark-skinned men and light-skinned men and brown-skinned men. They didn't give a fuck what you was a nigga to them. Excuse my lady. I hate saying that word, but that's how they saw us. They didn't give a shit whether you was light-skinned or dark-skinned during Jim Crow. If they saw you slipping, you got lynched.
Yeah,
but they play the colorism role, and these things that they don't address these things, and it's only a few women that came forward with books to try to address these things and say, hey, sisters, this is what we're doing wrong. We have to change this. If we don't change this, this is the result we're going to get. You see,
older women never mentor that to the youngins.
No. See, so that's what I would say about that, man. So we got to teach your young boys etiquette, and something else we got to talk about, this thing called confidence. This bullshit word called confidence. Now, I'm only confidence. Confident. Okay. That word they throw at men. They say, well, you're not confident enough. That's a bullshit word again. That's not had nothing to do with confidence. I'm 5'6". A brother that's 6'5". Both of us approach a woman the same way and say some of the same shit. There's no difference. We say some of the same things together. We got to say the only difference is what? He's tall. And sometimes sisters will give him a pass because he's tall, based on the fact that she knows in her brain, for some reason in her brain, she says, oh, I feel protected by him. I want a tall man. See, these are the behaviors. So you say, well, damn, a short man can't protect you? I don't understand that. I mean, so what you going to be doing to want him to protect you? You going to be out here running your mouth to another person? I mean, so these things, these are behaviors, man. I mean, tomorrow, I'm turning 54 tomorrow, bro. I'll be 54 tomorrow.
Okay.
So I've lived to be 54, because, for us as black men, anything can happen to us. We can be somewhere and get shot, just for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations on making up to 54.
Yeah. So
right.
There's a lot, man. But I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I agree with some of the stuff that you were talking about. I mean, Sister Ottawa that's my sister. I talk to Sister Ottawa a lot. Matter of fact, she's one of the few women I actually talk to, really, really can talk to, because she's an older sister, and she's been around, she's been through it, and she doesn't know. So, but thanks, Gary.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take another call. I'm not sure. Damn, now people are raising their hands. Let me see what this is. Hello, caller.
This is Big J one more again. Well, I got to ask this question now. Well, I got like two, three things I need to say. Do y'all see yourselves as good men? Can y'all define what a good man?
Right now, I could define for myself as a wonderful man, a very special man, a unique Negro, that special, fine black man. You feel me?
Well, no, I don't think that you heard me right. I said, do any of you gentlemen view yourselves as good men?
Oh yeah.
Big J, do you have a learning disability? Has it gone from one ear to the other ear? Well, I just said you want to repeat myself. No, bro. Before we continue to answer, wait, hold on, chill. To answer this question, that means you want me to repeat myself. Do you need me to repeat myself, Big J? Is that you ask?
No, I hear you talking, but you're not saying anything, Gary. I hear you talking, but you're not saying anything to me.
Now,
so
when you say it, do you want me as a man to cam up in front of you and say, look at me, see me, tall, somewhat, actually I am black, built, muscular, you know what I'm saying? Could drop a few pounds, but muscular. And I will say, I am a good black man. And I hear the same talk point from an estranged sister, and she wants men to define it. But when I hear the sister and her vitriol and I guess self-hatred because her father got coked out and she never seen an actual man in her life because the men that she gravitate is how she loved and indulged, I have no answer for the average black woman. I would tell most black women or good bitches, please go call my good friend Counselor Murray. I will leave his number in the description of the channel. I don't know if you want me to do that on Counselor Murray, because a lot of chicks will be calling you for consultation.
Wait, I'm still, but I asked the question to all the men on here, and I still not got the answer from Mr. Murray and Joshua. Can y'all define what's a good man? That's all I'm asking. Because I do have a secondary question after it though.
What's a good man? It's all subjective, I mean, but there's certain principles. There's certain principles though that a good man has. He's about something. He's striving for something. He's striving for. A good man conquers. They don't survive. So that they're more than surviving. They're conquering. They have a purpose. They have a drive.
I'm glad that you said that, sir. I'm glad that you said that a man has drive, a man has this, that, and that. Well, according to that logic, what you just say, therefore, we got to talk about that word confidence. Because if a man has confidence, he would not be sitting up over here saying he's trying to convince everybody he's a good black man and convince he's driven, while at the same time he sounds like he's not driven. So therefore, by that logic, y'all are not good black men. Because that's all y'all drive, sir? So therefore, that does not you don't have confidence in yourself. In yourself, or you exude confidence. Women don't see confidence in you. So therefore, they don't see. Are you
talking? Are you talking about women? Or are you like?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going somewhere. Now. You got. I'm using
Make
some
it quick, Big J.
Heavy lifting. You got to use some intellectual heavy lifting, like what David Carroll said. You got to use some intellectual heavy lifting. So therefore, I want you to follow me down the rabbit hole.
Let me say this. Oh, Big J. You're not David Carroll, and this rabbit hole better be very short hole. I don't want to be going down.
Yeah,
Listen, I want to some air. I need some replays, my dude, so go ahead. Quickly.
Yeah, if we gonna talk about a short rabbit hole, you were the one talking about you can only last 3 minutes. So how can you talk about a short rabbit hole when you just said Gary,
how can I last 3 minutes, Big J? But how can I last 3 minutes? This is not sexual. I'm not having intercourse with man. I'm not sure what this has to do with a man saying last long. I mean, Big J, are you going to stay on point on the conversation? Because now you interjected about a man lasting long in bed. This is not the conversation, bro. This is not sex class. You can't compare me to you. I don't know what you do in the bedroom, bro.
No, but you.
About lasting long. You're now divorcing the conversation. Can we stay on topic, please, sir? No, don't call me Gary. Can we please get to the point, sir? It's just taking long-winded. It's not even a joke because that was not even funny. Because it's not a sex.
No, I ain't here to be funny. I'm here to tell.
You're not hearing me, bro. You're not even getting to the point. I'm telling you, not David Carroll. You're asking another point.
I know I'm not David Carroll, but
ask the point quickly because I want to slowly, get to the point because I want you to board. Make sure nobody's calling.
Yeah, I gotta leave soon too, brother.
Yeah. So please.
Well, if we can go by what Mr. Murray says about men should be driven and a good man is driven, but if you're complaining about women, you're not being driven, and if women don't see confidence in you, then therefore, if women don't see confidence in you, then therefore, though she sees that you're not a driven man, so therefore, though you're not a good man, so therefore, y'all need, instead of y'all worry about women, y'all need to go to the man in the mirror, be like Michael Jackson, and look at the man in the mirror and change his ways. That's what you Sean Bones should be doing. But anyway, I'm done.
Anyway, you making assumptions, so.
No.
Let me ask.
Wait a minute.
Let me ask.
You don't even know me,
Big J, one more question. Big J, let me ask you a question. Because I'm starting to notice this now. Can you call in my show? I'm not sure we do this with ABC or anybody else. But I have a question. You still have a YouTube channel?
Say what?
You still have your YouTube channel?
And what does that have to do with the topic, sir?
Are you going to ask the question? Do you still have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel.
Okay. Has your channel grown for the last year now, or whatever months now? Since you're different direct.
About 100 subs. Why?
What's your count right now?
1580.
All right, so 1,005 or 1,800, right?
Yes. Why?
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on.
Oh man, I got to bounce, brother Rain.
I know. That was the last caller anyway. I think we asked all the questions, and I think we made our point. The funny thing, because Councilman, how Big J acts and goes around. I get it. It's a different marketing scheme to get the women on your side. But I'm telling you right now, bro, I don't pander to women like that. I have a channel myself. And what I've learned.
Yeah, I just subscribe to it, actually.
Oh, thank you. What I've learned as a man, whoever your audience is, that's your audience. There is no such thing as balance. Any conversation we had. Me even talking about this today and all previous broadcasts, even on my channel, is not benefiting or getting me any better favor. I move how things are shifting. That's it. And how the growth of my own channel is only going to be determined by my hands. And I'm telling you right now, and I know you have a channel yourself, Councilman Murray, which I'm going to tell you, give the links as I wrap this up now, that whatever you do, whatever path you're on, and it doesn't work, try something else. I'm going to tell you right now, in this direction you're going right now, to sit and say what the men should be doing and stop talking about the women and stuff, I hear you, I get it, but this ain't the party. You get me? We deal with depth analysis. I could go out my day all day talk about the men, and I have done that last year with me and Charles Faulkner. You get me?
Yeah.
Regardless of that here or not, that's up to them. But when I look at overall and with black demographics, only thing men could do at this point is tweak what they're doing. They're not getting any better. It's not going to be perfect. And to be honest with you, the lot of women that will tell you, just like I've done the show today on my own channel, which got a whole large views. Well, it got larger this year than it was a whole year ago, even the amount of people that liked it. It shows a testament that a lot of people that's doing this thing either are two things, either to keep the gender war going or it's about money. One or the other. You get me? And some people that still pushing this gender war, and you know the female content creators, Cosmo, you know them personally, or you heard about them. That it's not benefited, you know what I'm saying? Because I look at what Mr. Samuels has done. Right now, the men that's what they do right now, they're gonna probably overshadow the women on YouTube. Because when last time, Councilman, you hear any person that's on YouTube be on World Star Hip Hop more than once?
Yeah, I'm seeing celebrities tweet his stuff.
Now, mind you, have you know any female content creator hit World Star Hip Hop?
Nah.
So when we talk about an actual audience and relevance, because that's what YouTube is, it's about relevance, unfortunately. And not everybody's going to get that. It takes time work. That tells me what the women have been doing and been talking and pushing the same narrative for years and decades, bro. It's not effective. It's not working.
Exactly.
And this is a good thing because now all the excuse, all the ratchets that we talk about tonight is a testament that they're not going to change. So the only thing that's going to correct this, unfortunately, I want to say is the majority of our race is going to be assimilated, and we're going to be less than what we are now. You think that the ones that came from two black parents are going to still have a shade of black? You're sad and mistaken. Now, you get me?
Yeah, you're right.
People autocorrect, and most people that's going to make this autocorrect is mostly going to be the men. Because the women said men are the pushers and shakers, then if you are inferior and you carry on a certain way and feel that men are not capable or qualified or you should not give them the respect, that's fine. It's your decision. But the problem is what you're going to say and put an even dagger in your heart. And you potentially might, and I say might, die alone. Because what I said today on the stream with my help, my assistant, my friend, Council Murray, that you're going to get the same results if you have not changed certain behaviors. Is that it? You know where the men are that are the ones that are doing certain things, and so you need to go invest your time over there. You need to cut back on the little homosexuals that have been bred and groomed by other women. And one thing I would say, we got to stop training our youth, our boys, to be servants. Servants don't get power. And they're not going to get power because you push them out your coochie and then just let them don't do nothing. Don't put in the work. Just put him in school and then leave him and hope he's going to bring something to you. No, that shit don't work, baby. You're going to put in work. You might have to sacrifice what you're doing. You might have to invest time in your boys' education or all the above. You know what I'm saying, Councilman, to get a better result.
Every civilization, every other race, make sure their men are equipped to go out and be leaders and produce for themselves and their family. But our culture doesn't do that.
There you go. So at this point, I don't really care what other women say about black men at this point. Their own channels is irrelevant because they know they're not going to put in the work necessary to change them around. That's when they hear they talking about, say, you don't deserve nothing, you're this and that. And I hear it. I get you, sweetie, because you're lazy, you know. But don't expect that these group of men are going to change it for you. You know, the matter of fact, they're anticipating that you come easy them because then they don't have to put in the work. That's how they said, get on your knees. What are you going to do?
True.
So that's it. That's almost. Thank you again, Councilor Murray.
No problem.
You could tell the links for people to follow you, if possible.
Okay, yeah. Councilor Murray on YouTube. That's where I'm at, and you can catch me. You can email me at cmurray, CMURRAY 010615 at gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll probably put it. I think we're friends on Facebook. I think I found your Facebook page on one of my other.
Oh yeah.
You'll find me if I might have add you. I'm not sure. Just double check. If not, I'll find you somewhere. But I'll try to put
really
the
do
link.
Too much on there anyway.
Okay. Well, like I said, you email the necessary information so I could put in the description so people could follow you and ask for a consultation. But other than that, we'll probably do it again. We'll do this again soon with another subject.
We definitely do it again, man. It's definitely been an honor being on the show, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Good night, brother.
You too, brother. Bye.
All right. Respect. And thank y'all for listening to tonight's broadcast. If you sure do like this stream on Chaos Rain channel, you know where to find me. You find my name, Chaos Rain. Hit that red button. Hit the top bell. Hit the top of the bell for notifications for uploads and live streams. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7, or I say at Chaos Rain the 7. And that will be it. Thank you all again for this, I guess, special broadcast. Tune in to the next stream. I'm gonna wrap this year up strong, and I have some other guests on their way, so be on the lookout. But other than that, thank you for listening. Until next time, good night.
Thank you, Counselor Murray, to be my special guest on this stream. And you can follow him on Facebook and other outlets. The links will be in the description. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. And please follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let the chaos reign.